Hi guys, and welcome to another development stream for OpenArthurianX6. Today we are going to continue working on the item or containers functionality. So we are going to be adding items that can act as containers that you can put stuff into, and also objects in the world that are containers like drawers and barrels and stuff like that. So let's jump straight into that. The first thing that we're going to do is being able to create or mark items as containers. So let's start by creating a barrel. I think that's a good start. Let's clean up this a little bit. So in this map we already have some objects, items, and mobs. So we are going to have to check the other layers, the tile layers. It seems like this barrel is just ornamental here. So we are going to have to replace that. So yeah, we have this layer which is currently marked as solid, but it's just like a visual effect. Let's go ahead and and yeah, this should be like for immovable things you cannot move. Yeah, not really like objects, but just like things in the background. So let's remove that barrel. It's gone now. And let's go ahead and create an item that is a barrel. So the first thing we do is add in that item definition. Let's go into the items here, and let's create that item. So the ID is going to be barrel type. So let's try something. Let's say that this is a container, maybe, not sure. It's just a barrel. Name is barrel. The appearance, well, yeah, the light sources have two appearances, so that is why they have this type. I'm not sure about this really, but let's leave it like that for now. Normally items just have a single appearance, so let's do that for this one, and the appearance is barrel. We don't need this, and we don't need this for now, I believe. This is a start. Let's also create the appearance. So the appearance for the barrel, we can add it here, and the index on the tile set. So where is it? I don't know what it is. Let's look for it here. Maybe it's not in the items tile set, but that's not an issue. So it's here on the terrain tile set, and it's pretty down there. So we can do different things here. We can like take it from here on into the items tile set, or we could just reference that into a different appearance definition here. Let's do it like that, just to, I don't know what's cleaner. No, let's move it into the items tile set. So yeah, we just manually go into the file that is used for the items. That's here. Let's just copy it there from the terrain tile set. Alright, so the barrel is here. So let's just copy it from here and into the other one. I'm going to put it, this needs to be organized sometime. Where's the barrel? Here it is. I'm going to create a new layer so I can position it cleanly, and I'm going to put it for now just here besides the iron bolt. And let's just export this, and let's leave it also here. It's okay to have it duplicated. Yeah, alright, so we now have the barrel here as well, which is good. And the ID is after the bolt, the iron bolt, which is in the index 71 of the item style set, so it will be index 72. Alright, so we define the appearance, we define the item definition. For now, we can now just add it as an object here, and let's do that. I'm going to put it outside so I don't have to walk all the way there. So we create a new tile object and we put it here, and we are going to say that this is an item which is called barrel1, type is item, and the item ID is barrel. We save this, and we have to rebuild the game, so we do that. What? Build. Alright, so this should work now. Let's just refresh the game, and there's no barrel there, but maybe it was cached. Oh well, there was some problem with the appearance. It looks like a loot, but it's a barrel, so maybe the index was wrong. 72, yeah, that's a loot. Maybe I did something wrong. Let's see, so the loot is here. Okay, so I used the wrong appearance. It should be this one. Okay, so it's 161. And now it's showing up there. Alright, so we added the item. Now the idea is that when we there are some things to do here. So first off, should this be treated like a solid thing? Should we be able to work on it? That will be like a separate thing. And I guess what we want to do first is create items that you will normally carry yourself, like backpacks and stuff like that. So for now, let's treat this as backpack, right? Or a small barrel that you can carry and that you can also like stretch by or walk by. But I'm going to take note of that additional thing that we need to address, and is solid prevent walking over solid items, maybe. So we are doing these two things right now. And we should also be able to set up their initial contents, but one step at a time. So what we want to do now is when you click on that item, instead of walking to it, we want to open it if it's a container. So we have to also, when you look into that item, I believe it should also like show it as a container, but that's something related to the keyboard commands that we need to also address afterwards. For now, let's look into the clicking. So I think when you click an item, so if we go to the item factory, when the sprite for the item is created, it has some input handler attached to it. Right now it's for the right button, so when you right click this, it shows this. But let's also add one for the left button, and I think we should be like leveraging into the player state machine here instead of having like these individual handlers. So in the player state machine, I think we are already like doing some checks for the pointers. However, I don't like it. I mean, the problem with this is that we will have to like detect based on the point where the pointer has been clicked, what object is there, and that brings more issues like the layering. So what object is in top of another one? So I believe what we need to do is kind of instead of doing that, I will create an additional. It's similar to what is done here, but instead of calling a direct function in the player state machine, we can do something like I don't know, like item clicked maybe, and then send the item, and yeah, I think and also what button was it, so we can send left and right button here, and then let's for now comment this. Let's create this item clicked on the player state machine. So it will be similar to the update, the normal update function that is here, right? In the sense that it will always check the state of the input state machine. So item click function item left click right click, and then if action enable, we can do this same thing here, and then switch also to the state. And if we are in yeah, this prevents problems like for example, right now if you're in combat and you right click on an item, probably the state machine will go nuts because it will go into look mode, but you're in combat. So this allows more control, and we need more control here. So yeah, let's control what states we want to be able to do stuff here. So for example, this is interesting because it will allow us also to open, that is something that is already in the to do, being able to open containers. Where is it? I don't know what it is. Well, it's probably included somewhere already, but we want to be able to open containers by clicking on them. So yeah, that will be something that we will do here. I'm going to add that here. Open item if open container if the item is a container, and that's something that we will also do here. The difference is that if we are already on item transferring state, we don't transition to item transfer state. If we are on music, we don't do anything. So let's move all these states up here. Actually, we can just default to doing nothing and respond to the state that we're actually doing something, like world. And what happened? Oh, what did I? World and item transferring. For now, those will be the two states where we will do something. So yeah, if we are in world mode and we click an item, so the first thing we need to do is check if this item, if we right clicked, right? If it was a right click, then we will look into the item. If not, then if the item is a container, then we open the container. If not, we don't do anything. I think that's about right. So let's go back here, and if right click, we are going to examine it. And if not, then so how are we going to check if the item is a container? This is easy. We can just add that to the item class. So is container, we can just check the definition of the item and see if the type is container. That's something that we just added. That may be one way to do it. Another way to do this is we are going to need to add the inventory of, or the contents of the item, and that will be something similar to what we do with the mobs. So in the mobs, when a mob is being created, we are creating a new backpack, which is actually a container, and the backpack has an inventory inside. So what is a container? I mean, is it like a widget, or is it the contents of it? And it seems like here we are, whenever we create a mob, we are assigning or creating the actual physical or visual representation of it, and I don't believe that's a good idea. That doesn't sound right. We should be able to just instantiate a new container widget using an inventory. I don't believe it should be like the way that it currently is. Doesn't seem like a good idea. Yeah, so when the container has a list of items inside, it seems, and when we are syncing the inventory icons, we are like taking this inventory and so yeah, that's a good question. So because when a mob, do mobs have an inventory right now? Yeah, they have an inventory already. So mobs already have an inventory, and when we add an item to them, then they add it here locally, and then their container also has an inventory. So I'm not sure like when these two things are kept like in sync. That's a good question. Well, there's some functions here that are meant to synchronize the contents of this, but I don't see where they address the inventory of the mob. So yeah, I believe we should do this right. So because yeah, anyways, all this long rant just to say that an item should, if the item is a container, it's going to have an inventory. That should be like the criteria to define that. So let's do that, and instead of checking for the type, we're going to see if this item has inventory. That's the way that it should be. And then in the item factory, if when we are creating the item here, so if definition dot type is container, then we create a new inventory for the item. Did we keep that in the definition? Barrel, so yeah, in items.js type container. Okay, so right now, yeah, that should create like a new array for it. And then in the previous state machine, if the item is a container, then we are going to open the container. If not, well, we don't do anything. And also, let's put this here. So yeah, with this we will check that the mouse looking at item using the mouse is still working, and also that we will be able to open the containers. So click on it and we open it, left click, okay, so it works well. And the other thing that we want to check here is that when we are already showing an inventory and we left click, then we open it. So yeah, that's looking good. Now we need to be able to instantiate a container here and show it. So I think that belongs more to the UI module, so let's do that. Show container for item. We also will do that here. And in here in the UI module is where we should be creating these containers. So right now that's not happening. Instead they are being created when the actual mobs are being instantiated. That's not good. So we are just like opening that here, and I believe that's wrong. So instead I'm going to change that here too, and it's similar to what I left commented out here. Anyways, show container for in this case it's for a mob, and we are going to send the mob. And yeah, and so let's go inside this. So we need to create a container if it doesn't exist. So we are no longer going to be creating this backpack here. So that's how it's linking them together. No, we are no longer going to be doing that. Instead, when we create a container, we are going to send him the inventory. That's going to change. Lots of concurrent changes here, so I hope I don't forget any part. Yeah, it's a big refactor. So show container, and we are going to send him the mob inventory. and we are going to open it. So we need to only create it if there is not only create the container if there is a container already created for the mob. And actually we can generalize here short container for inventory. Well, but the idea is that we are going to need to customize the windows based on more stuff. So let's leave it like this, but we are going to do something very similar for the items. And then we need to alter the container class, so that it receives the inventory when it's instantiated, and instead of having this. So not sure how well it will work, but let's hope it works well. Yeah, and in the open function we are just synchronizing these. Okay. Alright. I'm going to check if there are more references to the backpack. Doesn't seem to be any other reference. That's good. So let's disable. We are also going to need to destroy these containers instead of just hiding them when their close button is pressed or when we hit escape. So yeah, basically we need to destroy the group instead of just making it not visible. Right. Yeah, many changes going on here. Okay, it loaded and already failing. So yeah, container is not defined here. Let's go to the mob factory and let's import these two things into the UI. Okay. I can see my inventory. If I click again, well, it doesn't. Something happened there. For some reason, I clicked an item. What happened there? Did I click this? Well, that should have been like not intentional. Maybe it's registering this click. Okay, so this is the barrel. So yeah, it seems like this group is not like capturing the clicks, and maybe it should, because else it will be very confusing. But what's happening here is something I was afraid of. It's creating multiple inventories for each item, no matter if it's already open. But yeah, we already had that to do there. Are we back to the moving mode? Yeah. We are in a crazy state now. Great. But it's because we are not transferring to the we are not switching to this state when the item container is opened, and we should do that. Fortunately, I believe that's part of the player state machine. Yeah, that's so click item clicked. We show the container for the item, and then we switch to item transferring. The same here, well, we are already on item transferring here. We can delete this here. And yeah, we need to add that control to the UI. So click on this. Can I move around? I cannot. Again, I clicked an item. What am I clicking? So what item is this? The iron bolt. Okay, so yeah, I know what's going on there. I am clicking an item that is on the mask, and I should not be able to do that. This should only be called if the item is visible. But the problem is that this item is visible. It's just like that mask, it's over it. Yeah, I don't know if we have like any way to know if an item is being not it's being obscured by the FOB mask. But yeah, in any case, yeah, that will also happen if we click any of these potions. But it didn't happen. Or the loot? No. Oh, okay. I know what happened there. So we still need to check if the item is a container here. But in any case, it brought a good point. We need to only call this if the item is visible. We can delete this and it's not obscured by the FOB mask. Okay, and I think what we can also do here is we can capture the clicks that are happening in the container. I think that's something that we should do. So in the background, this sprite needs to be capturing clicks. It's just going to do something very simple here. Action enabled. This is the correct way. I forgot. Not sure in Phaser. Been using many different frameworks lately. Let's just copy that from the item factory. Input enabled. Okay. And in this event we don't do anything. We are just like and I don't even think I need to add a listener. But yeah, this should prevent like clicking on things behind the container window. So once it's open, I cannot click on myself, but yeah, that works, and I can still transfer stuff. Yeah. Okay. And if I close all windows, I can move again. It seems to be working fine. So yeah, first step, items that are containers, and you can click on them and open them as containers and transfer stuff. We still need to check if that is done correctly, but it seems that at least if I transfer something from here to here, then I check my inventory is not there, then I check this and it's there. So at least it seems to be working in some capacity. Okay. Next thing here is actually defining the inventory for that item, the starting inventory for that item, and I believe for that the best way to do it would be an extended attribute here, right? So let's do it that way. We will have to, well, but let's first commit this initial work. So we added the barrel. We did some refactoring here to create the, let's put that in a separate commit. So yeah, we refactored this to always send the inventory to the container instead of keeping the list of items inside of it. So refactor to keep inventory as part of the world entity instead of the container widget or pop-up. That was mainly there, but also not here, but yes, here. And also here in this fragment. And here, station this, and at least up to here for this refactor. I kind of screwed up that part. Need to revert that last line here. Let's do that. Okay. Use stage. Okay. And so this is the new barrel, and this is the new barrel. So that's the refactor. Then we added the barrel and being able to show, well, we can do that separately. So add container items, so is a container item factory doing this. Let's put that on a single commit. So yeah, adding containers and being able to click on them. Yeah, it really makes sense to have a single commit there. Adding item containers, click on them to see their container, to see them. Their contents, yeah. And then we added the actual barrel. So that happened here, 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 and also in this map. Okay, add barrel item. container. And now we are going to define the contents of that barrel in the map. So let's go here and let's go to the object classes or types thing. Where is it? I always miss it. View object types editor. We are going to need a new object type, maybe. Yeah, I guess so, which is a container, and it has an item ID, which is a string, and it also may have like an array of other items. I don't know if this has arrays. No, it doesn't have arrays. So let's just have it be like a list of strings, comma separated. Yeah, okay, let's leave it like this, and let's change this barrel to be a container, and the initial contents of this there's a problem with that. We will not be able to specify the quantity unless we put like some JSON content here. That's not very optimal, really. But I don't know if there's another way because of the types that we have here. Yeah, I hate that, but it looks like either we don't support like adding quantities of stuff, but that will not make sense because normally inside a barrel you want to have like 20 bolts or stuff like that. So yeah, at least for now I believe I will have to include some JSON data here. I did not really want to do that, but I don't see any other way, so let's do it like that. So yeah, we're going to have an array of things. What things? We will have like let's for now include fish, and 20 bolts. Okay. So it's a barrel with a fish and 20 bolts. Yeah. And then we need to get these initial contents when we are creating the item, especially here. Instead of this being empty, and I guess, well, yeah, it's similar to how the NPCs are created or the mobs are created. The mobs already have an initial inventory, but the advantage of them is that they are defined on JavaScript as JavaScript objects. So yeah, it's easier here. For example, this guy already has this. And yeah, I believe it will be better to have them be part of the map data, because you don't want to tie this to the, or having to have like a different definition for every barrel with different contents in the world. So anyways, we are going to check into the map data, and that's coming here in the item data. So if this guy has like initial contents, it may not have, and they are not empty, maybe like an empty barrel or something like that. then we are going to parse that. So initial contents are going to be parsing this. Let's see if that works first. I did not save here. No. Debugger, okay, so initial content loaded correctly, that's great. And we are going to create those items. So yeah, in this case it will be similar to how the inventory here is done. So adding items using the item factory. Here, no, this is when someone dies. Weapon, armor. It seems like interesting. We don't seem to be. Oh, this one receives also the quantity. Okay. So we need to use the item factory. Use this thing in the item factory. So here, for each one of these, we are going to use this item.addItem. Well, initial item. This.createItem, initial item, and we need to probably we will need to add this to the item class. Because I don't think it has it. I mean, yeah, it has an inventory, but it doesn't have this. So it's just probably very similar to what we have in the mob class. Well, it has more things because of the stacking logic mainly. This should probably be part of a shared aspect. This should be like an inventory class. But yeah, I think let's see how we are doing. We still have like 10 minutes today. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So there's already an inventory thing, but we are probably going to just delete that. So I thought that I had let's do that. Model, and then let's create the inventory class here. Hasta mañana. And then instead of having the mobs have the list of items directly, then we will have them call their inventory. Yeah, I don't think we will be able to finish the refactoring in the 10 minutes, but it makes sense to have it. So let's do it. So what we're doing here is this logic that was already part of the mob class to handle like the stacking of items. We are going to have it be part of a separate class so that it can also be shared by the items, item containers. So yeah, we're going to also rename this inventory attribute to items. And yeah, so here we need to initialize this with not just an array, but here, yeah, we need to create a new instance of inventory, and we are going to need to require it. So let's see where we are doing this kind of stuff. Display items, okay, dialogues, inventory. This is the one that is probably going to go away. Here, yeah, instead of doing this, you create a new inventory for the item, and then we can add the item there. But we also need to import that. Where else? Those were probably the places where we were creating. Here's also another place. Oh, interesting. So this looks like a duplicate thing, because in the constructor of the mob class we are already defining the inventory as a new inventory, and this is already happening here, so this is redundant and we can remove it. Here, why do we have an inventory here? This looks like a legacy thing. Yeah, I don't believe we are using this inventory. Oh, okay, so it's not an inventory, it's a container. And it's not an array, it's a container. This is completely wrong. Definition, items, okay. This is the only part where it should be called like that. Okay, and then everywhere where we referenced inventory is going to need a change, especially for the mob class, I guess. Yeah, for now it will be for the mob class. So yeah, here we're creating the new one. Here, add item to free slot. So this is going to go to the inventory class. Yeah. Alright, so where else? I'm actually going to delete this, and instead whenever we are adding an item to a mob, we are going to not proxy this call to his inventory, but get his inventory and do it, or not. Let's leave it like this. Drop on direction, inventory splice. Yeah, this should be replaced to a call to this dot inventory dot remove item, what item, this item, and that function should do the splice. But actually dropping is broken already. We need to fix that. Remove item. Where else? Reduce item quantity. Move. Yeah, we are finally doing this to do. Let's move all this function to the inventory class. Reduce item quantity. If item.quantity not enough, this dot items dot splice. Okay. And then I don't know if this is right. Does this even work? Because yeah, this index of is looking for the object, and here we are looking for an object with the same definition ID. Not sure which one of the two is more better. I like the one below more, but I don't know. Alright, where else? Okay, get ammunition for weapon. If this is like a lookup to see if we have something in the inventory, this can also be moved to the inventory class. Get item by ID, yeah, item ID, and then we return this dot inventory dot get item by ID for the ammunition type. Okay. Well, where else are we like accessing? Why are we doing this? I think this is pretty old. I don't think we're using that. Yeah. And then we changed this, so the container used to receive so inside this, maybe we will have to break the we are not receiving like a list of, this expects to be a list of things. For now, let's leave it like this. Done exhibit items list. Yeah, but I believe for now we will have to leave them like work that way. Yeah, I think let's see how that works, because we did all, oh, we need to do some more stuff, but yeah, I believe we are over the hour now. I'm not sure if I want to leave the refactor. I think I will do something before finishing for today, because else it may be hard to catch things later. we need to replace the calls that were being done to add item so that it doesn't break. But for the mob class it's not that complex because we are already proxying this, so that's fine. Yeah, this one is not a problem, but the other calls like this one need to be done on the inventory now instead of being done directly in the class, so something like this. But yeah, I think that will be it for today. So I will continue doing this tomorrow. If you want to see me doing this kind of stuff, just subscribe to the channel. If not, this is just a commitment that I have made to have the project done very quickly, or at least Sunday soon. So I will see you soon.